President Trump and Pete Hegseth send the 82nd Airborne into Iran and they all get slaughtered, which is exactly what's going to happen to them, somebody needs to go to prison. I'm going to let Scott Ritter at the end of this video explain exactly how that's going to happen.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement.
So I'm going to let a retired Major General explain rules of engagement and why they're so important. But just to give you a high-level overview, because Pete Hegseth just said that the United States government no longer is going to go abide by these rules of engagement. And that has led to this, what's taking place in Cuba right now, because the United States has put our warships all around Cuba and completely cut off oil into their country. Their hospitals now, which have ICU units, which have babies in incubators, no longer have the ability to give oxygen and ventilate the systems for these children. So the nurses in the hospital are hand pumping these ventilators.
So they have their manual because the ventilator is failing because the blackout is something. They can just pump it manually. But the equipment are really old, so you can actually trust.
This is just one of many rules of engagement, which you're not allowed to do. It would be a war crime, to like bomb the water filtration systems, because as much as you want to hurt the military, you got a lot of innocent civilians, women and children that are dependent. Their life depends on that water. So you're not going to do something like that because that would just be considered a war crime. But Pete Hegseth has just openly admitted, like, well, we're losing this war and we're getting our asses kicked. So we're going to win it by any means necessary, no matter how many war crimes we have to commit. So I'm going to let this retired Major General explain it to you. Check this out.
We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country.
Those are the words of a potential war criminal, right there. And that is not the advice and counsel and direction that any Secretary of Defense should be providing our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. It puts them actually in greater danger. The Secretary of Defense is a disgraced major that was kicked out of the DC National Guard. He has no qualifications whatsoever to be the Secretary of Defense other than his extreme loyalty to the president. Again, those are the words of a potential war criminal.
Now let Scott Ritter, who was previous a nuclear weapons inspector for the UN, explain why the United States government and our leaders should be charged with war crimes and go to prison if they get our boys slaughtered, specifically the 82nd Airborne. Check this out.
One of those 1,000 points was a girls' school that should never have been struck.
Yeah, I know.
We struck hospitals, the whole thing. This is the most criminally minded war plan in the history of war plans.
Is it criminal or stupid or both?
Criminal. No, it's, first of all, when you're the Secretary of Defense and you're required by, we have a Law of Warfare Act. If you violate the Geneva Conventions grossly, there's a death penalty.
Yeah.
We have a manual of the manual of the law warfare manual. Mm-hmm. We had a directive from 2023 that created a unit that screened targets to make sure we didn't hit civilians. Hegseth came in and said, I'm doing away with all the rules. I'm disbanding that unit. We're going to disregard the law warfare manual. We want increased lethality. And so when he said we're going to put 1,000 bombs on 1,000 targets a day, he was saying, I don't care what you kill. We kill things and break things, he said. That's what we do. There was intent, criminal intent from the very start. So this was criminal and incompetent. What I don't understand is why the JCS didn't resign en masse. This is a leadership failure on the part of the most senior military officers. And now they're in a situation where they're going to have to try and do something they know they can't do. If we send Marines across the beach and they die, people need to go to jail. If we send the 82nd Airborne in with the Rangers and they die, and they will die, we will not win this fight. The Iranians have been preparing for this fight for 20 years.
Yeah.
We're making it up as we go along.